Welcome back to this Woman in Game Global Festival 2001. My name is Miss Harvey, and I'm super happy to be here and hosting this panel about celebrating the competitors from this weekend's tournament. And today I'm welcome with three other beautiful and amazing women from the community on my right on your screen. They're right here. So let's start in order with Mathilde, also known as Nello in the community. Welcome, Mathilde.
You're welcome. Thanks for the invite.
So Mathilde is a player from 10 Star Nova. They finished second in this weekend's tournament. We'll come right back to you, Mathilde, in a second. You're from France, though.
Yes, I'm from France. Yeah. So sorry if my English is gonna be a little complicated for me.
No, I think we're pretty much, a lot of us are foreign right now. So I'm foreign, so excuse me for my English as well. And right next to you, there's another competitor. This time it is Roxy. Her first name is Vivi. What a beautiful first name. Hi, Roxy.
Hello, thanks for having me here.
You are from Project X, a team that is not signed, but that won this tournament this weekend. And we're super happy to have you. Where are you from, Roxy?
I'm from Germany, and my mom is from the Philippines, actually, so I'm also a mix. But yeah, I live in Germany. I compete for Europe.
Okay, see, another non-speaking native language, so that's great. And last but not least, we have Jordan. Welcome, Jordan.
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing great. And you're not a competitor, but you're here to represent your team, Rix, who finished fourth in this weekend's tournament. What exactly is your role at Rix?
So I'm actually the head of PR and content over at RixGG. However, I also have put together and spearhead a lot of our inclusion and female and marginalized gender events and tournaments and stuff like that. So Nello and Roxy have played in my events that I've helped set up. So yeah,
we're gonna get to that later. I want to know more about all of this. So it's awesome that you guys know each other a little bit behind the scene. But before we jump into today's kind of questions, let's get to know a little bit the competitor. And let's start with, let's start with Roxy. Roxy, you won this weekend, but before all of that, I want to know, like, how long have you been a player for? I know that right now you're playing Valorant. You used to play other games. Like, what is your background a little bit?
Well, I used to be a main streamer, actually. My full-time job was just being a streamer, content creator. I used to play CSGO, though, like with my friends, with like my teammates. With Claudia, I've known her for like 4 years at least, maybe. And she's been actually getting me into CSGO and like teaching me how the game works. But at some point when like the competition in CS kind of fell for her and she thought like the scene was dying or like they didn't put as much effort in the scene as they should, Claudia just said to me like, hey, why don't we try this game Valorant, Roxy? I know you've been enjoying CSGO, but you were like so late and like you didn't really have to, like you didn't get a chance to like compete as much and like become one of the top players. But as for Valorant, it's a new game, like everybody can become good, like everybody can just get into it really fast since it's so new. So then I gave it a chance, and we just made a team with like our other teammates like Kim and Spirfet, who were also CSGO players, and we met Glance, who was an Overwatch player, and then we just like made this roster, and then it just worked out. And then now we just happened to be a top team because we just got into it so fast. We learned the game so fast. It was like, it's way more fun than like I ever had at CS. I'm like really happy how it worked out and that I took like the suggestion of Claudia to just try with the new game.
Yeah, and that's also a suggestion at home if you're watching, never too late to get into a competitive game, especially Valorant. Now's the time to get into the competitive scene. Nello, is it something like that? Are you coming for you? Are you coming from CS as well?
No, like I started playing at Minecraft, so I'm not like I started to play on Minecraft and I just play for fun at CS:GO. Like I just like have maybe 1,000 hours, not more. And like I just play for fun with friends. So no, that's not very more. Like it's
I know.
Like
competitors,
yeah, like I think Roxy have like maybe 6,000. So I'm not playing CS:GO really. I just like when I see Valorant coming, I like grab the chance to maybe start something. and I start to play with friends, and I also meet Lirilia, my captain. And one day she just say, okay, we're gonna make a team, and we're gonna like grab Kla, and like Kla have so much experience on this game. Like she's a CS:GO player, and we grab Ninu and Slicey, and we have one of the best roster I've seen now.
Yeah, the French scene in CS has always been so dominant. Cloud won multiple championships under that banner, but so it's glad to see that you guys are still there and showing your colors. And Jordan, your background's a little different because, as we mentioned at the top of this panel, you're not a competitor, but you've been around esports and around gaming for a little bit. You were recently introduced as an ambassador in the Women in Games program. So let us know a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I actually come from quite a mixed background. I've held some very interesting jobs over my lifetime, but more recently have focused on the communication side in doing marketing and PR work. And then I got introduced into esports last July. And I have loved every minute of being here and, just kind of seeing how the scene was. And at that time, like, as, Nello said, esports and Roxy said as well, like CSGO was kind of on its way out a little bit and a little bit neglected during COVID. And so as an org, I saw an opportunity for us to come in and a way for us to create a pathway for players like Roxy and Nello to just show what they've got, because everybody deserves that opportunity, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from. And it's just one of those really cool things to see and to be a part of.
One of my questions a little bit later was why did you guys make the switch from CSGO? But I'm gonna scratch that. I mean, y'all answered it. One of them was like, well, this game is kind of dying, Let's move on from that. Let's just talk about things that are ongoing right now. But so last weekend there was a cool event ran by Women in Games. It was a community cup. It was the first kind of tiptoeing into competitive. And they started with Valorant with the 8 teams. I believe it was invitational, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yes, all 3 of you are confirming. So it was throughout 2 days. Throughout 2 days, and all of you guys made the top 3. And I want to know a little bit more about your experience in this tournament, especially the rivalry between y'all's 2 teams. Project X and 10 Stars, from my little research and from also following the scene up over there in Europe, is that you guys play each other all the time at every competition. Who wants to jump first? Let's one of you guys.
I can go if you want. Since we start to as gangsters before be 10 Star. And also in Gangsters, we start to meet projects in finals. And the first time we lost. And the second time we become stronger. And we beat them on the finals. We beat them twice. We beat them twice, but this week they beat us again on finals. So we never meet in qualifier, semi, or also that. We always meet in the finals projects. They're one of the best team we meet, and we also so glad to can play against.
Yeah, it does feel like it's a little bit of a storyline that's been happening, and that could dictate a little bit the future of Valorant over here in your region. Roxy, how does it feel like to get your revenge this weekend?
It feels nice, of course, the sweet revenge, right? It's the moment we've been waiting for since the last tournament. But yeah, as Nilo said, we've met each other I think 3 or 4 times in the finals always. And it's it's just really exciting to see always what kind of new stuff they brought on specific maps and how we adapt on it and what we learn from our past mistakes from the last few finals. But sometimes it works out for the better of us and sometimes just for them. But it's always we know that at some point we're going to meet them again because 10 Stars one of the strongest teams right now, and we are like convinced that we will have a lot of more rematches, and we just really want to improve and like see how we really like can figure them out at some point, like fully, that we don't give them any rounds, possibly even. So it's always like I don't know, it's also like a lot of mind games, just like of us wanting to like really trying to read them like so well that we eventually like don't even have to like try that much anymore. But yeah, it's always like nothing is free, nothing is guaranteed, of course, so we always have to like work to get better and to defeat them. It's not like it's like easy or something. It's like always a really big battle, and it's always like a pleasure to play against them in the finals, because it's really, really exhausting games at all times.
Yeah, and it's refreshing in a game like Valorant because there's new metas that changes all the time, as well as new agents. You know, even if you've played that team before, you never know what they're going to come up with, which is a little different than the CS circuit, where it's a little more stale and stagnant. You know, you get to know the player's tendency a little bit more. Jordan, you also are picked up a female team, and they played in the tournament. They finished third. I want to ask, you know, as Gangsta became 10-star, you know, why do you guys think that is so important for orgs jumping into the female circuit and pick up teams like Nello and Roxy's have been playing on?
I think it's an important first step. Again, you know, we all kind of have this objective of, you know, mixed teams being the norm, but we need a pathway to get there. And for Rix and a lot of other organizations, like the first step is hosting events. Then it's also, you know, creating pathways for players, and that means giving them jobs, you know, creating opportunities and places where they can have a regular income and say goodbye to, you know, whatever job or whatever else they were doing and really commit to their dream. And that I think is important, you know, for all players, but specifically more for marginalized communities, which in this case is women, and other, folks.
I think it's super important, and you kind of tapped into it about creating opportunities and creating tournaments. So I want to ask you right away, like, why do you think a tournament like the Women in Games Community Cup is so important for the community, especially in the Valorant circuit, kind of post-pandemic right now?
Well, I think it's been touched on a lot throughout sort of the whole day of the Women in Games conference is that women do experience a lot more violence, not violence, but like also bullying and harassment, and, you know, there's all kind of things in the space, and they really need their own space to grow and to thrive. And I think that, you know, the male dominated space right now is just far too toxic for there to be any, you know, immediate change. And I think the other problem is that change comes slow. So it's going to take time. And so, yeah, I think orgs just need to get on it, be part of that change, and take these first steps.
So Nello, you've recently been picked up by 10-star, and then Roxy, I saw Claudia post yesterday, like, or 2 days ago, a GIF about being signed, and yes. I know that you will be able to tell us, but why don't we talk about why it's important for you as a player to be supported by an organization? Does it matter to you? So with Mathilde, because you already got signed.
Yeah. Like, it's mean a lot, because like they just like when I opened a door for us, they like opened the door at the competition, at the now like I have the mission to like keep grinding, keep improving for me, for my team, but also for all female who need to like go on this game, go try like this game, go try to grind herself. Like, they need to have this vision of me, because if I can be here, they also can be, and like I need to show the way for us.
You're so mature in your young career. What about you, Roxy?
Yeah, just I think it's really important, just not only because like of exposure to be like seen by other, I don't know, female players possibly that like want to be the same. It's just important that you have someone like support you, as in not even like, you know how all the male players, they have a full-time job as in CSGO or Valorant, could be anything, but they're like getting supported financially and with like anything they could possibly need. They can spend literally their whole day, it's like their full-time job to play this game only and to get better at it. So I think it's just only fair to do the same with like females, of course, that they have their full support and they can give their all just for this game and to like really actually improve and have like not just the financial stability behind it, but like also a nutritionist, for example, or like something that the org also offers to like even have their mental be well. Their, I don't know, like literally everything, not just like, oh my God, it's so hard to talk, but yeah, I hope you get what I mean.
No, absolutely. And I'm gonna have to ask you, how hard was it to find an org to sign the one of the top teams in EU in Valorant?
I mean, it was. I don't want to brag or anything. It wasn't really that hard, but we also didn't like want to settle for like less when we know that we are one of the top teams, and we don't want it to like get abused just because like an org have like a lot of followers, and I think they can just offer us like nothing just to like get exposure for us. Like we really wanted to be like treated fairly, like they would treat their male team. So we really had to like go through all the offers and like really check that we would be treated fairly, just like their male team. And then actually at some point, we found an org that really offered us what we wanted, and they're really like they're not just they didn't just sign us for the exposure, like to get something in return, but really to help us grow as players, as people, and to make things work in general. So that's really nice, and I can't wait for the announcement.
Okay. Well, before we change topic, can you let us know when we would know?
Around end of this week, start of next week. Like
that's
very, very soon.
Oh, that's really cool. Sometimes you see these announcement things and
yes,
go by and you're like, oh my God, let us know. So that's really, really great to know. Okay. You guys have played in Jordan's tournament before. Jordan, let us know what goes into creating for you an inclusive tournament, because it's not just about creating a tournament. Sometimes it's you need to understand the space. So how did it come to you to create these tournaments, and what do you do differently than a regular tournament?
Well, I just kind of saw no like shade on them, but what Galorants were doing, and I was like, okay, that's really cool, but where's the EU one? Like, so I got into their community, and I didn't see a whole lot of focus there, and I was just like, okay, I guess they're an NA type thing. Let's do something for EU that's strictly for female and marginalized gender people within the EU space. So we do try to be fairly inclusive on like what it means to be a woman, and other genders who might also face discrimination, who don't necessarily want to play in the male dominated space. And that's something that's very important to me as a non-binary person. And just in talking and having friends, who are transgender or who are gender fluid, or, having that representation, and also knowing that there are people just like you who do want to participate on the more competitive side of gaming and want to succeed. And so, yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. And there's a lot of admin and taking complaints, and like there's like a whole world on the backside of hosting event. But it all looks good on the screen and on the stream, and that's what matters. And the other thing that matters is like listening to players. So after our first few events, we had a survey that went around to really kind of try and create a tournament that was what the players wanted.
Yeah, I think that's something that's really important. Like, too often you have people coming in the space and trying to do something that they want, but forgets about what the players want, right? We're all different. We all have different needs, especially when it comes to, I'm going to use what Riot says, the Game Changers community. It's so diverse. Everyone is different. So, how are you girls excited for the upcoming VCT Game Changers? There was a couple of events before in NA, before the rest of the world was able to kind of take a look at them. Why don't we start with you, Nello? What does it mean to you to actually be in the Game Changer circuit?
It's mean a lot, because also there is already some tournaments and some regular team like Project X, Oxygen, Chatban, but the announce of VCT gonna make some people, some girls, gonna create other team. I have French friends who already say to me, okay, be ready, we come for VCT and some stuff like that. So I'm really hyped, because I know some other girls gonna make this and try to grind, and this announce make me very happy, because new girls to play.
Also means it's gonna be harder. You're gonna work harder. What about you, Roxy?
Yeah, I just think it's a really big opportunity for us to compete in like such a huge event, like by Riot specifically. Like, it's a really big opportunity, and I also think it's like it creates a lot of attention, especially for new people. Like Nilo said, like I've been watching the female Valorant Discord, and I see like everybody just starting to look for a team and like wanting to hop in on the train and like to compete as well, and like telling all their friends about it. And it's just so nice that everybody is going on the hype train, and finally for EU as well. Like I know NA has been like had a lot of tournaments like this already, and we've really just been waiting for it the whole time for it to finally come to Europe, and now it is, and now we're so happy to like have this chance, and yeah, we will just do our best for it.
It's like the opposite of CS, right? Where EU was like the mecca for women in competition, while NA has always been like the little black sheep, and then reversed in Valorant. Jordan, what does it mean to you as well to get like kind of confirmed that your investment into creating tournaments for your community as well as picking up a women's team could potentially pay off with the VCT circuit coming in Europe?
Yeah, I mean, we were always kind of hoping that it would come to EU, and whether or not it did, our goal first and foremost was to just invest in players who were going to be out there playing, and hoping that the female scene in the EU would grow. So we hope that by throwing our first tournament, and that others would come, and there have been a few that have come in, like Women in Games, and other esports orgs too. And I think what makes it unique about this time though is that Riot have stepped in and said, we're going to create space for you. And I think that's one of the first times that a game developer has done that specifically for women with that mission. And so I think it's just a really exciting time to create new careers, and I can't wait to see what the future holds and to see all of you competing on the big screen and get that big money.
Big check. For those who have no idea how much these players are earning, on the women's circuit, like I'm looking at y'all's price earning, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Wikipedia told me both Nello and Roxy, you guys made about $1,000 in the last year in tournaments earning. So I mean, it's kind of pocket change if you consider how many hours of practice and just commitment and sacrifices you guys have to make this happen. Can we talk a little bit about these sacrifices and how you get ready for a tournament? Roxy, let us know, like, what does it mean to you to compete? What do you sacrifice, and how do you what do you do to work so hard?
Well, as I said before, I used to be a full-time streamer, and that was also my main income. But now that I've fully focused myself to play Valorant, we spend like our whole team spent like at least 7 to 8 hours every day to practice Valorant together, not just play the game, but like watch VODs or like our past games, or like we will stalk our opponents to just see what they're onto. And so what I've been sacrificing is like I kind of dropped my stream to the side. Like I let my viewers and stuff, I let them wait for me basically, which is like actually really sad because I kind of miss streaming as well. But yeah, I spend like, I don't know, around 8 to 10 hours on Valorant like daily. And if we're done with prac, then I still play like for myself, like matchmaking or something just for fun, just to get better. And like sometimes even like stream as well if I feel like it. But it is a little bit exhausting. And you think it's like the perfect day, just play video games all day long. But if you do it like professionally, and you have to actually like analyze your mistakes and like even possibly like not really argue, but like talk with your teammates about strats and what went wrong, and like it can be hard on yourself as well. Like it's not as fun as you think or you wish for it to be. But I mean, in the end, if it makes you win and if it makes you have more fun, then of course it pays off. But yeah.
Yeah, you said it. You have to sacrifice a lot, even your livelihood sometimes.
Yeah.
What is your situation, Nello?
I'm like in France. I live in France, so I just like finished a step of studies. So I have the chance that Sensor offers me to the opportunity to like just focus on the game. So I just gonna just play all the day Valorant. So the sacrifice is for me only like my family, because like I spend a lot of hours on my computer and also at the night, and like my family need to sleep, but sometimes I'm screaming at like maybe 3 a.m. So like my family doesn't really like that, but yeah, I need to. So they just understand, and I have the sense of that. But also I know like Lirilia, my captain, need to sacrifice more because like she keep studies at a big level. Like so the schedule for us is very complicated because she need to studies, and when she don't studies she need to practice. When she like, it's very hard for her. Like she don't have a lot of break time for her.
Yeah, it's the sacrifices that you have to do, and I think it's the modern day and age of professional gaming is set to evolve in my book because it's not adapted really well to traditional studies in traditional world. Jordan, I know that you're more on the back hand in your organization at Rick's GG, but can you let us know what you think is super important to support these athletes because of all the sacrifice that they're doing to make a difference sometimes in the space, not just for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Roxy hit on it earlier, is just having that support staff and also keeping like open lines of communication between you and your managers and your coaches, and just like having that time and space to be like, look, I am going through a lot right now. As Nella said, like, look, I've got school, I've got work. Can we work around this? Can we move this? Oh, I've got to take, my nan to the doctor, or, there's a million things that come up in real life. And so from an org's perspective, like, we're all about like competition does come first, but at the same time, you're all still people and human beings, and you have to be really understanding about that. And I think that is kind of what is a little bit different about signing an all-female team as opposed to a male team, is like, it's not that the responsibilities are so different, it's just that we have to be understanding as we would with anyone, and just giving them the space they need and the time they need as well. But as Nella said, like that, it's 10-12 hour days, and that takes a toll on anyone. And so making sure they've got break time, and maybe like it's a day off today. We thought we were going to practice today, but you know what, it's everybody needs to get their head right. We'll hit it in a day, and just making those kind of calls as well.
That's a very good point. Mental health is key here, and a lot of us too often are stuck in the culture of the grind, especially in gaming, where you need to play, but that's not always the solution. Sometimes sleeping, eating, doing some exercise will actually help you in the game. So it's important to be able to recognize that. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about y'all's beginning. We covered a little bit your past at the top of this panel, but let's talk, if some people are watching at home and they are wondering, how did these women get to win a tournament like last weekend at the Women in Games Community Cup? Like, where did they start? How do I even start? So let's start to the basic. Let's start with Mathilde, Nello. So, you're a woman is watching. She wants to compete, and she wants to learn at least and try competing. What is your advice? Where does she start?
Like, I think you need to, like, of course, start to play, and like she need to like grind the game, like not like from make it gradient or immortal, but for increase her like knowledge of the game, practicing and some stuff like that. And like also she need to try to show herself, like on Twitter she need to like post some clip or some stuff like that. And I think this is a beginning, because like if someone want like maybe start a team, she's gonna like look Twitter and look the clip, and she's gonna like, oh, this girl is also good with this clip, maybe we can try something with this girl. And like so we practice, we try out, and like we saw she has, unless she's like, imagine platinum, but she's like have more knowledge of someone. She have like keep practicing. She have like motivation. Like I think this is a beginning. You need to show yourself and keep grinding the game.
Really good advice. Something that when I started, Twitter didn't exist. When I was beginning my professional career, I didn't have to do that. What about you, Roxy?
I mean, the easiest way to get into a game is to have a friend playing it with you. So I think one of the most important aspects is just at the beginning is that you have fun and that you get more invested and interested in the game in general. So my advice is just find a friend that likes the game, or maybe is even new to the game as well, so you can learn it together, and just figuring out how you like it, if you really want to get pro in it or get better in it. And then I think what also is really nice is to find a streamer that you really like, or like even a new streamer that plays the game as well, and you can you learn a lot by just watching, really, not just like streamers, but also like the official Valorant streams, for example. You learn a lot just by watching, and you get really a lot of information from it. And then you can just sit down with friends, talk about the games, play the games together. And I think this is like one of the easiest ways to get really into a game and like have this fun aspect of it. I think once you're actually really enjoying it, then the grinding will come from itself, and like it would just like all go easy from that point. But yeah, as Nilo said, exposure is also really important. And once you get good at the game, so like even streaming the game yourself is something, and like have people come in your chat and help you as well, like not really backseat gaming you, but offer their help or like to play with you. I think this is one of the easiest and nicest ways to get into the game and like to start playing it like in a competitive way.
You're right about watching gaming and becoming better. I watched Roxy last weekend, and then I hopped into a game, and all of a sudden it was so good in Valorant I ranked up. Jordan, you are on the flip side, behind the scene of an org. If there are some girls who are watching and they're like, you know what, we have our little team and we're looking to get some support to get picked up, what can they do to kind of catch the eyes of an organization that's looking out for a team to pick up?
Well, first thing I would say is find a tournament that is listed on VLR or Liquipedia is a great start, because once you get there, that opens doors. Because the problem that we had in trying to find a team was that there was nowhere that centralized the information at all. Liquipedia now has a specific page that is for all female tournaments and events, which they did not have prior to, I think, Game Changers NA's second one. So it's something relatively new. But as I said, try to find tournaments and places where you can get that notoriety and be listed somewhere, even if it's just on like a bracket, like challenger mode or something, just some way that you can show orgs like, look, here's how we did, here's what we have. And then also, as Nello said, making sure you have a Twitter account, like a team Twitter account, super helpful and easy to find. Make sure that people know where to find it as well. So if you're a streamer or content creator, make sure that's in your chat. And like all these kinds of things are just little simple steps you can do to try to help orgs find you and to get signed.
I love this. I especially like the Liquipedia thing, because that's also something in my time you didn't really have to worry about. In an era where there's not a lot of LANs at the moment, when online is key and that's the only thing that there is, I think that's super, super important. So today is the global festival for women in games. Everything is happening online across the world. But I want to ask, because it's a woman event, what does it feel like to be marginalized from the Game Changer community in gaming for you all? And I mean, the answer can be, it doesn't change anything for me. I think that's also a valid answer. So let's start with you, Jordan. What does it mean for you to be part of this community?
I mean, for me, it's very important. Representation is everything. And I think, sometimes all it takes is one person to say, I am this or I am that. And then they don't have to even actively be the face for it, but even just passively, just like knowing there's someone else that's non-binary in the community that's making change, or knowing that someone else is a woman out there making change, or that someone is a trans woman, who is a woman, is out there making change. Like all of those things are critically important. And yeah, I think it's just very important to me that everybody feel represented and have those opportunities that should have been there for them in the first place.
Yes, opportunities that should already have been there. That's key here. Nello.
I'm very happy to be on this community, because also I represent on this conference. But I also be a part of. I'm very happy when I see people try to open the world to the woman. To like, I'm really glad to see this coming.
Roxy, I'm gonna swap the question a little bit for you. I want to know, why do you choose to play with Project X and not be on a mixed team, for example?
Oh, okay. Well, as I said at the beginning, Claudia just randomly asked me to like make a team with her. Our original lineup was actually kind of different. We were like a 5 stack of friends, I'd say. It was like Claudia, Smurfette, Flutura, and Dorella. We were all CSGO players, really, all of us. And we played the first tournament for fun, and it actually worked out quite decently. But then with Dorella and Flutura, like the time schedule changed. So like we had to change the roster a little bit then in the end. But since I trust in Claudia a lot, and I think she's a really, really great IGL. And I would actually really like to prefer to play with a friend and someone that I trust than like in a top team that's always been one of the top team. Like, for example, if Tenstar has been winning like every tournament now and they would ask me, hey, do you want to play with our team? I would probably decline just because like I would rather build up something myself and like work my way there to get to the first place than just have it like thrown at me. So like this is basically what we did with Project X. Like we started from literally the bottom. Nobody knew us. Nobody had an idea who we were, like maybe only in CS. And then we kind of created our own name together. And yeah, this is actually that's our story, how we like got to the top kind of just together as friends having a good time, and then it all just came by itself, like the professional way and stuff. So
you think you could have found that on a mixed team, or it was really kind of blossom under or next to other women?
I mean, I don't know. I think every team could really like, if they really would give the chance and all the effort, I think any team could really make it. So it's not like just because you're a mixed team, you don't have a chance or have less of a chance than against, I don't know, people that known each other for 10 years. I think you just have to like find the perfect fit of personalities, and like same gameplay. Like, and it was just a coincidence that we all had this from the beginning for some reason. But yeah, I don't think a mixed team like would have less of a chance to win than people that known each other for a longer time.
Okay, so as we're wrapping up, we're at our last 10 minutes of this panel. We're going to talk a little bit about kind of more philosophical, questions, sometimes about the future and whatnot. But let's start with who's someone that inspires you in the community now, like that pushes you, for example, to do more, get better, and that kind of stuff. Let's start with you, Nello.
Actually, I'm like Cloud9 Mel on the NA scene. Like she's one of the best player I ever seen, and she in-game leader. She's in-game leader, but also she play like Sentinel, and I play Sentinel. So I'm like a little fan because like she play very well, and I'm like, okay, one day I want like face her in the like I won't play against this girl and I won't beat us. I won't keep grinding for be at this level.
Oh, that is so cool. What about you, Roxy?
I mean,
also a non-player, right?
Yeah, no, but for me it's like finally it's Claudia again because it's always so she's everywhere. What can I say? But no, it's been like this at the start of CS as well. Like she was kind of a person I looked up to at the start with. Just that got me into play CS and like try to compete and stuff. That's why I was so happy. Like I've become close friends with her, even though we never really played. But then she just like at some point we just got closer like as friends, and then she just asked me about the Valorant thing. So I was just like super happy about it because she was someone I look up to, and like we basically started to play around the same time-ish, but she got just so good so fast, and like it's just something to like really look up to, and like I don't know, that's just I'm just obsessed with her. I'm just
that's like Claudia.
Okay, Roxy.
It's your teammate, so that's good.
Yeah,
spend as much time as you want with her. What about you, Jordan?
So I've kind of got two. So I've got one that is Heather Garazzo. She works with Dignitas. I hope I said her last name correctly. But she's kind of someone that early on in my research of looking into female and marginalized gender like tournament and event space, like her name just like kept coming up, and I was just like, yeah, you know, she's doing some really important work in NA, and you know, she's just kind of someone that, you know, I've not had the chance to meet yet, but I do hope that that will happen one day. But again, she's more of one of those back end kind of people. I think she was a CS:GO player at one point, and so yeah, it's just kind of inspiring to me to see other women make that transition from player to organization and to be extremely wildly successful through their own hard work, and that's just something that's kind of inspiring to me. And then obviously Nicole, who I work with, she's also another inspiration because she was a former League of Legends player, and she's also successfully made that transition from being a player to being a team manager, and now she's head of our esports inclusion department. So it's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, I like badass women, you know. Sorry if I'm not allowed to curse, but yeah, that's me. And then lastly, like all the players, every single woman who's ever competed in an esports event, like they're people to look up to, and you know, again, are the reason why we're all here.
Yeah, that is so true. It's always about breaking barriers and breaking glass ceiling and just pushing. And I like that all of you guys named teammates of mine at some point. So I feel that I'm on the right path with the people I hang out with, you know, inspiring just people all across the world. Okay, so the Valorant community is at its beginning. Okay, we have the major going on right now in Berlin, and overall it's been like a little bit over a year and a half that we've had this beautiful game in our community. What are you ladies looking for in the future for that community? Like, what's your hopes and desire? And let's go reverse. Let's start with Jordan this time.
Yeah, so I mean, my hopes for the community is just that it continues to grow, and that by, you know, continuing to grow the community, we also start to get and start to change that sort of toxic culture from where it is now, and we you know, eventually get to that place where we look back and go, oh yeah, back in my day, you know, and those kind of things just don't happen. So yeah, that's for me what it's all about, is just continuing to just drive us down that path. So yeah, we can put all that nasty stuff in our rearview mirror.
And that is super inspiring because it does mean that we're doing something right at the moment. We're trying to change things. It's just continuing to do even more. What about you, Nello?
I don't like. I think I'm gonna say the same. Like I won't keep like see the same grind, and like maybe like I want to land against NA. Like I want see if you can play against NA or against it's Asia. I don't really know the name of other. So I want like play against other region, and because like for now there is like Project X I play a lot against, and like this is the biggest enemies for now. But I want see if I can play against other team.
Project X is the raid boss. It's vice versa. Roxy, what is your hope for the future of the Valorant community and overall the gaming community?
Yeah, I can just agree with what both of them said. Like, I really hope we can finally normalize female gamers and like not having like to treat them like any differently than from any other player you would meet in the game. Like both for behavior or as in like judging their gameplay or whatsoever, or like fucking or like generalizing it and stuff. And yeah, what Nilo said, like of course LANs, we are hoping and wishing for LANs, but like thanks to COVID, of course it hasn't really been possible this year. So we really hope that's gonna change. That like what Nilo said again, to like compete against Asia and NA and stuff. That would be really, really interesting to see for us, I think.
Yeah, and you know, some players on LAN are just better, and some players on LAN are better. So it's gonna create a lot of commotion in the scene once we show up on LAN again. It's funny because Jordan said badass, and she thought she swore, and you know,
like, wasn't sure.
Sorry. No worries. Okay, so as we're wrapping up, we're in the last couple of minutes before the end of this panel. Let's talk about what you guys want to say. Tanks. Do you have any tanks for this weekend? Whether it's, you know what? I'm not going to steal any words out of your mouth. So, any tanks? Let's start with Dello.
Okay, I want to like thanks like all the people who like Jordan like keep like trying to make some tournament, keep trying to like open the opportunity to all the girls in this community, like all people who do this and all girls who try it, like who like because if there is a door, we need girls who take it. So I want to thank that.
Oh, that was beautiful. If there is a war, we need girls to take it. Come on. Dello on that article, Women in Games. We want that one. Roxy.
Yeah, so like just a thank you to everybody, to like tournament creators, to players itself, and everybody who's been supporting it in any kind of way. If it's just spreading the word or just watching or literally anything that involves it, like it's really huge for the scene, and they probably do more than they think about it. So it's really nice to see have people support you and just spread the word. It's really nice.
And you have the last word on this, Jordan.
Yeah, I would say thank you to the fans because again, like it's great. Like we love our teams, we love the players, we love being a part of it. But again, what draws brands and what draws like this to be a long-term project that is successful. A lot of it comes down to the fans. So if you can show up, if you can watch, if you can donate, if you can follow these streamers and content creators, if you can shout about the teams on social media, please do it. It costs you absolutely nothing to do any of that. So please do it.
Yeah, it costs nothing and it means so much just to have a little message. Hey, love what you do, or you know what, you inspire me to do the things I do as well. And I have to say that it was my pleasure to be hosting this panels because you guys were amazing panelists, giving me lots of love in your answers, and this made the last 45 minutes so easy, and I'm so grateful that we were able to spend this together. On behalf of Women in Games, my name is Miss Harvey, and I was joined with Roxy, Nello, and Jordan from Project X, Penstar, as well as Rix. And we wish you a very good end of day wherever you are across the world. And Women in Games will be back a little bit after this break with more programmation throughout the day. Bye, everyone.